Sljedeća prezentacija je...
The next presentation is a market of strawberry and berry fruits in the Netherlands and Europe and prospects for the Western Balkan countries. Our guest is Hans Puijk from Puijk Fruit from the Netherlands. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I walk a little bit to this side, a little bit to the middle. I'm Hans Puijk. I'm from the Netherlands. Today we're talking about the market outlook for berries in the Netherlands, EU, and opportunities for the Western Balkans, such as Serbia. Go on. I will talk a little bit, very short moment about myself, so you know who is talking, which is also quite important. I'm Hans Puijk. I'm a soft fruit grower. But next to that, you see some. This worked, I think. Yeah. You see some different, like marks, logos underneath. This means every logo is a different company. We are producing plants in the Netherlands, which we export all over the world. We do also fruit production. This means we have our own soft fruit farm in the Netherlands. We produce raspberry, blackberry, and different kinds of soft fruits. Next to that, there's also consultancy and research. This means also we give advice to other growers all over the world. And one of the advice we will give is based on the research we do by ourselves. This means we have a research department, we do our own trials. When we do a trial and it works out well for several times, we can advise this also to growers through over the world, just like in Serbia. Very short introduction. Over here you see some pictures. One of the pictures over here is my nursery. This is one of the plots we have in the Netherlands. Over here we make the raspberries. Raspberries are very, very famous in Serbia, such as in Holland, and we're producing plants for the rest of Europe. These are my raspberries, and this is a special variety which my clients like. Why I say this particularly on this moment with this picture, because later on in this presentation I will come back to that. Table of content. It's always nice to know where we're going to talk about on beforehand. So the aim for today, why the Western Balkan? So also a little bit about the strategy and your customers, which is also very important to know on beforehand, which I will explain later on. So the competitiveness of the Western Balkan. This is, I think, a very important thing which I go in a little bit more today, because the subject was quite big and the time was quite small. I have to figure out which subject I think is the most important, and this is this. So, why Western Balkan? One of the reasons why I'm here in Serbia is because I'm figuring out if there's a possibility to do business as a grower / advisor / plant producer in Serbia. So what are the reasons why I'm searching for opportunities over here in Serbia? One of the reasons is the cheap labor. And then you think, okay, cheap labor, this is, it's possible very cheap, but why? I will explain directly. In my farm in the Netherlands, in my location in the Netherlands, we have to pay, like the salary, including everything, €20 per hour. This means one person gets in 1 hour €20. This is a lot of money. When you produce raspberries and your medium picking speed, so the amount of kilos per hour is 5 kilo, means that one raspberry only for picking is costing €4. When I compare this with Serbia, 1 kilo of raspberry, one person per hour costing more or less €5, let's say. People pick 5 kilo per hour, so the cost for picking one raspberry, of 1 kilo raspberry, is €1. This means this is €3 difference per kilo, only the picking cost. So this is quite a good reason why sometimes the price is €6, and when the difference is already 3, yeah, it makes no sense. Even when you have the frozen raspberries, sometimes the price is €1.5. Yeah, we cannot talk. I'm not going to talk about that because it's a very simple calculation. Early without heating. There in Europe there are different places where you can produce soft fruit, and they will grow and they will produce in different moments. This means when you grow raspberries in Portugal, they will be earlier ripe than raspberries in Holland. Serbia will be in between, because it is not as hot as in Portugal and Morocco and Spain, but it is not that cold as in the Netherlands. So you could get in the gap between. But there are also some negative points, so which are points which are not so suitable. This could be, for example, the climate, because the climate could be very nice, but it could be very hot also in the summer. So you have to produce in spring or in autumn or somewhere when it's not that extreme. On this moment, people are producing raspberries like the same way as 30 years ago. The experience and the knowledge about growing raspberries is not still here. The circumstances are different and knowledge have to build up, because circumstances are so different that people, advisors in Serbia do not know what to do. Also, when you export these raspberries, and I talk about fresh ones, to the rest of Europe, it is almost impossible due to regulations, paperwork, customs, delay on the border, and when you have fresh products and you have to wait 1 day extra on the border, you are having a problem, which we don't like. So, in the end, the distance, the paperwork, the difficulties are also quite big, but I think the government's already working on that. Over here you see a picture. This is made in Serbia, so this picture. So there is already some test over here. So we have already some experience in Serbia, but the difficulty is how to do a successful raspberry growing of fresh fruit in Serbia, Western Balkan. Next, I think I do something wrong, but yes. So I talk already a little bit about the practical experience. There's some practical experience now, because we did some trials, and these trials are like different than the rest of Europe. This means we had some tests, we have some varieties tested, we have some connections made, and also we saw a lot of troubles. So the experience we had made this year is already very, very important, because to make a successful business in the future, you need to know where you're heading to, and on this moment, there's no knowledge, there's no experience. Also, when you want to export fresh fruit to other European countries, and I don't talk about raspberry, but for example blueberry. Blueberry is more easy because you can contain these blueberries longer in the truck. When they are 1 day longer, 2 days longer, that doesn't matter because they are keeping the shelf life. But when you have raspberries, this is a big issue. Also, starting difficulties due to weather circumstances, due to different culture, because the culture and the way of working in Serbia is different than in other countries, and you think you have cheap labor, but the labor have to work also on a proper level. This means when you start working in a different country, the labor force is also different. You have to train the labor force, and the labor force is not, the people are not trained yet, so they don't know exactly what to do, which makes your production more costly. So even when you pay €5, well, you can pay them less than in the rest of Europe, but they do sometimes also less because they don't exactly know what to do. And I was talking about exporting, and when you export some fruit to other countries, they always say, yeah, we need the right quality. Quality is relative, so this means that quality for me could be different than for you. Quality for frozen fruit is different than for fresh fruit, and there are some companies in Holland, for example, who only want to have one variety, only one size. So quality for this particularly client is different than quality for a frozen fruit client. But what is quality? So quality is relative. So what you want to know, what you need to know, is what quality you need to produce for your customer. You see over here, customer. So what do the customer need? Because I'm now step by step going to the point about the market and the perspective of the Balkan market. The customer needs, and this is a really important thing. On this moment in Serbia, the perspective is very big. You have opportunities that much, it's unbelievable. Only the difficulty is all the fruit what is produced is the most of the fruit is on one particular moment. When fruit is produced, which is very nice, is only maybe with the wrong variety, but because we didn't know beforehand what variety the client want to have. So what we are doing on this moment, what in general the thing is, we want to produce fresh fruit, fresh raspberries in Serbia, but we don't know how much the client want, on which moment. We don't know which variety the client want, on which moment. We don't also know which kind of quality the client wants before we plant. So in this moment, due to lack of experience and knowledge, we losing the opportunity to get the market only because there is no experience and no knowledge about the market itself. So the frozen business is very big, and very, very big. It means it's one of the biggest of Europe, but we all doing the same for the last 30 years, and we all producing the same quality in the same moment, and we deliver all to the same cold stores, and in the end we wait what kind of price we get. So, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, the perspective of the Serbian market, and I talk about the whole soft foods market, but it's more easy to compare it with the raspberries, because there's a lot of experience with the frozen ones over here. I think we need to know who our clients are before we plant, when our clients want to have the fruit before we plant, and also how we're going to produce this amount of fruit on the right moment, with the right quality, with what our clients want. So, I hope that the translation will know what to do. So maybe you have to focus on the spring, maybe on the autumn. You have to grow on substrate or in tunnels. Do you have the right variety? Those are all questions you have to ask yourself before you're growing the raspberry. So my presentation is slightly different than the normal economically one. Why? Because the economical people in our world are watching and figuring out about figures and how much tons are produced and for which price. And yeah, this year the price is less than last year, but it's, in my opinion, with the perspective of the market of Serbia, it's not about the big figures, it's about the people who, the small figures, the details, where you have to produce your fruit. Where are the gaps? Where can a raspberry grower still earns money? And that's how I see perspective for the market. Is not about looking at big numbers. I'm looking at the numbers, the periods where there is no fruit, maybe for a higher price, and not about the total number. No, we need to look, we need to be careful, we need to see where the market wants our fruit, and not big numbers. So, customer needs is one of the biggest points on this. So, the perspective of the market is only based on the customer. So we have to produce what the customer wants and not all the way around. So we produce and then we put it to the customer and we see what they are paying. So sales is the key in that case. So it's better to prepare the sales already before you plant. And this means you need to know which variety your clients want. You need to know when you have to produce the fruit. You need to know which quality you need to produce. And also, it is also quite nice when you produce on appointment. So maybe it is nice to know more or less what could the price be. What are the prices of the last year in which periods? So when I have to produce the fruit. So how to ensure this success in the future? This is the question for everybody. In Serbia, we are on a very nice, interesting place with cheap labor and very cheap heating in the spring. As I said before, the competitiveness of Serbia is really big, really high. You are on the right spot. Only you do not know yet which fruit on which moment you have to produce. So, due to lack of knowledge and experience, the old-fashioned way of thinking is still applied. This means that we can do the same as 30 years ago, but when we do the same as 30 years ago with the frozen market, you see that things occur like everybody produces the same on the same moment. We have to see when you produce in fresh, which I think, what I think is the most lucrative, the best way to earn money in the future in Serbia. You need to know first who your clients are. So, what is the optimal sales window? Knowing when you get how much of which quality of fruit, but also how long does it take to your customer. So when you are selling fruit to Finland, you can have a different type of fruit than when you're selling N variety, when you're selling them to Budapest. But in the end, and one of the important things is, choices have to be made before you start growing soft fruit. So choices have to be made based on experience and knowledge. On this moment, in my opinion, the market perspective cannot be, there's not a clear answer how the Balkan can be that successful in the future when there is not enough experience and knowledge on this moment. Without the experience and knowledge in this moment, this perspective is not so nice, in my opinion, because we don't know what to produce when, in which variety, and which quality. So, how to make things brighter in future, so how to have a brighter perspective, and how to be successful in future in Serbia in my opinion, is apply the experience and knowledge which we have in, for example, in Holland, apply it in Holland, in Serbia on a proper way, so we can produce the right quality on the right moment. So, it is a very big story. I think I'm more or less on my time limit, but important thing is that to be successful, changes have to be made. The perspective is for the Serbian market, for the Serbian soft fruit, is linked to the growth of the knowledge and experience in the future. Thank you. That was my presentation. If there are any questions, please let me know. You can send me also an email, and I'm very open to do discussion on this moment too. We have not that much people, so we can do personal discussion. And I know also I'm the last one, so we don't have to hurry up for another one behind me. Okay, any questions? Oh, nice. Tell me. Yeah.
Serbian agricultures are mostly based on frozen fruit.
Yes, sir.
Fresh fruit is very little proportion, mostly because of the short shelf life. Do you have some recommendations how to extend this shelf life? For example, I'm coming from MTM Solutions company, producer of packaging. We were working on MAP packaging on fresh raspberries. Do you have experience with that?
I think your question is very relevant. And you're working for packaging. I know exactly what you mean, but I don't think that this is the source of having shelf life issues. The source of the shelf life issues, because I'm an agricultural engineer, it's because a lot of raspberries are grown outside. They are picked by hand with the wrong type of varieties. So when you pick a raspberry, and it is like in the morning, for example, and it's a little bit humid, and you will pick it, and you don't pick it like this, but I prefer to pick it like this, because when you pick it like this, you can break something. So when you pick it like this, you can damage the skin a little bit. When the humidity level is quite high, when you damage something, you get mold. And mold is one of the biggest issues. You cannot treat mold by a packaging, but you can help to provide damaging and other things during the travel. So export is not done because the people, in my opinion, and maybe I'm rude, I'm from Holland, I'm quite direct, the growers do not know how to produce fresh raspberries. They have frozen raspberries, and then on a certain moment this frozen raspberry market is over, but we have still some raspberries, so we export those as fresh. It's not the way how to work, because how I work is all my berries, because I have my own farm in Holland, all my berries are for fresh, all are treated for fresh, they are underneath the tunnels, so they're protected from the environment, so the damaging of the fruit is as less as possible. I have the right varieties, I'm picking on the right time, so not too late, not too early, because I saw some fruit which was a little bit too ripe, for example, but they are together with a fruit which is too unripe in one punnet, and the too ripe one is leaky and get mold and all. So in general, good question. I think the solution is not the packaging in first. This is like the detail in the end. But the big lines are not clear yet. So people need to know how to grow fresh raspberries. And now they're only thinking about frozen. So this is a different way of thinking. And to change way of thinking, there have to be an urgency. So bad prices is one of them. So people are thinking, oh, I need to have more money. I go to fresh. So this is a good solution. But then the urgency is there to change, only they don't have the knowledge yet. So they know how to grow raspberry, but only not fresh ones. Very good question. What you are saying with this packaging is when they know how to grow fresh raspberries, and and they know which quality they have to be. In the end, you are in the picture because you are the detail which makes the difference in the end. But the big lines are not clear yet. Is this okay for you? Okay. Other questions? You may also do 2 questions if you like.
We have done research on it, and we have got with, we have done research in the last few years, and with the right combination of materials and gases calm down the molds and everything. And we got around nearly 30 days for the fresh raspberries. I think this is good result. Do you have any experience with similar stuff in Netherlands?
Again, 30 days is a lot, but I can explain, I will say something different. The most of the raspberries in Holland, outside of most of the raspberries which are imported to Northern Europe are coming from, like in the wintertime, from Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. Those raspberries have to hold on like 4 or 5 days to be on the destination. Then they have to be on over there too. So they have to be 4 or 5 days, and then they are on the destination. Then 2 days in the shelf. This is perfectly possible without this treatment. What I mean to say is, when they just grow well and they use the same what they do in Portugal, Spain, and Morocco, so same punnet, same everything, it has to be okay. What you are saying is like an extra extension, but, and now I'm maybe very rude, everything costs money. This treatment costs money too. This means what I'm doing now, what I'm now saying is, when they in Morocco, Spain and Portugal can grow raspberries for Northern European countries, such as Morocco is not in Europe, they can export to England, to Holland, to Sweden, doesn't matter, without this treatment. So, in my opinion, this treatment is not necessary. Yeah. But I know it can help. It can help.
A lot.
Yeah, but first, grow proper raspberries. Yeah. Good thing, I think, in these trials have to be done. Also with strawberries, this is very interesting. Only on this moment, I'm quite Dutch, and then I say, okay, when they can do it from Morocco with this, we can do it from Serbia too. But it's nice, a nice extra thing.
How long is the shelf life for raspberries from Morocco? Do you know?
Depends on the grower.
Approximately.
Depends on the grower.
Okay.
So you have bad growers which reach destination, but then, so you can have 7 days, for example, 6 days. But you don't need to have 30 days all the time. And I did the trials by myself. I have my own cold stores in Holland. We have CA, we have ULO, we have everything. We do storage of red currants. We pick them end of August and we can store them till May. So we can store them more than 6 months, 7 months, 8 months in the cold store with using of gases, like apples. This helps a lot. Only, is it necessary? This is the question. And this is the question which we can answer in 5 years. In 5 years, I'm here, you here, okay. And then we see what the involvement is. But in my opinion, it is not necessary. Yeah. But we can try, always. Yeah. I want also to try, if you like. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Any other points? Can it be also big questions, small questions? You, maybe? One question? No? Yeah, could be. Okay, I think you want to finish now. Yeah, it's possible too. Thank you very much. When there are more questions, please send an email.